Hi all, and welcome to the TinaCMS and TinaCloud Sprint 84 review and retro, and the Sprint 85 forecast. First, we'll be going through the review. So for our sprint goal, we had the new search functionality, and this was worked on by Jack. Do you want to speak to that, Jack?
Yeah, so unfortunately not a whole lot of progress was done this sprint as we had some issues and some fires to put out with the ESM migration, but we'll talk about that later.
I noticed you've got the number of spits there.
Yes, we
They're
do.
from all users. For the week.
Yeah, that's for all users for the last week, I believe. Is that right, Pat?
Yeah, if you just put the default, it was the last week.
Yeah. So for TinaCMS, we have 105 hours billed to Jack, Ivan, Caleb, and Josh. And for TinaCloud, we have 58.5 hours billed to Pat, myself, and Matt. For the sprint backlog, key things to note was migrate from React Color to React Colorful, which I'll get Ivan to speak about.
Yeah, so we are currently on a warpath to get rid of the dependencies that are security vulnerabilities or deprecated. This was part of getting rid of the Lodash. We have migrated from React Color to React Colorful. In the process, we also shaved off quite a bit of size of the package because React Color was around 140 kilobytes and React Colorful was only 3, which is always good. We have gotten 2 controls back. We've got the sketch here, and we've got the block in the other tab. Essentially, this was done to achieve the full feature parity, so we're not missing out on anything. We can use all of the good stuff that we could before. You can type in the colors from the CSS standard lineup. You can use hex, you can use RGB, you can select from the pre-select the swatches, and as a bonus, we got the ability to resize those controls. As you can see, the ones on the screenshots are sort of a thin 350 pixel wide ones, I think, so they don't take up the entire page. And in the process of migration, we have also unified the controls with the rest of the controls in Tina, so now they are squared off and look nice. Previously, they were more pill-shaped, and that was the only control that looked like that, which was weird, and that was fixed. As a result of this migration, we got rid of the Lodash dependency in that part of the project. We removed, I think that was the last actual full Lodash dependencies. So the rest of them depend on 1 or 2 methods from Lodash. That was a pretty big change, and I'm pretty happy with how that turned out.
I'm not familiar with this problem. What happened?
So we've had we've got some packages that we depend upon that are vulnerable via peer dependencies. One of them was this React Color package. We've swapped to React Colorful instead.
For security reasons.
For security reasons, the side benefit is that we get other benefits of swapping to a more modern package as well.
Is it more popular?
It is the most popular alternative that I've researched.
Right. So we went off the most popular one to the second most popular.
We went from the most popular vulnerable one to the most popular non-vulnerable one. I think that's a win.
Right.
The other benefits are that
couldn't have we waited for them to update it so it wasn't vulnerable?
It has not been touched in 5 years, and all of the issues are ignored.
Okay.
And that's what was one of the reasons why we have migrated.
Right. Okay.
This one doesn't have any dependencies at all. React Colorful is completely contained within the package itself. Right. So it cannot have third-party vulnerabilities for the sake of not having a third-party libraries connected to it, which is awesome.
Okay. That's a lot more context.
Yeah.
So in terms of the Discord chat, we have had one user reporting an issue with the version 3 release, which I'll get Pat to speak about.
Yeah, so in terms of Discord, we had a couple of general sort of questions and support inquiries. What we sort of wanted to highlight was the engagement with the community, with the Tina project. So this one here is just a user of Tina who has reported an issue that's come up with the 3 release, and that was in the Cloudinary package, which we doesn't get a lot of use. So it's good to get some feedback from other users. And the other thing I'd like to highlight is that we also had, separate to this, another user reported bug that we quickly jumped on and got a patch out in sort of about 24 hours. So
Was that
it's good
the Steve Smith problem?
that was a separate one, but we also did the Steve Smith. Yes.
All right. Okay. What's the current version number called now, Pat?
I think it's 3.02, right, Jack? Yes.
Okay.
So we also had some validation around the invalid link URL, which I have here. So this is reported from a few users around the URL in the rich text editor, or the markdown editor not working correctly. So this was first brought up as a bug, but we done further investigation and it was to do with invalid links being pasted in. So we've just added this validation here so that we ensure that users are pasted in the correct links. And just what Pat mentioned before, yeah, we had these 3 PBIs around resolving ESM issues, which I'll get Jack to speak some more about.
Yeah, so yeah, as Pat was saying, a few of these have come from the Discord, which is awesome to see. And the root cause of this was, we were just using kind of common JS ways to import packages internally, which just weren't detected until now, really. So we fixed those up and have pushed out the fixes in 3.0.2, which people are using npm and some other package managers. They should just automatically kind of get on next install. For anyone else, they just have to upgrade to the latest versions to get those fixes there.
Cool. So for our sprint burn up, we had 8 remaining and 14 completed. Code coverage not yet logged. Production deployments, we had 1 deployment for TinaCloud and 2 releases for TinaCMS. For the application health overview timeline, Identity API HTTP 500s increased from 23 to 59. Yeah, pretty insignificant in the amount of requests that were being sent, 2 million. For Content API HTTP 500s, we've seen an increase from 4K to 24K. Most of these, or some of these, being from the ESM migration or the Tina version 3. What you can see, if I can zoom in a little bit, I don't think I can. Oh, that just brought me to the top. Where are we? Here. So if we see in this graph here, with the Content API error responses, you can see a wee spike here, a couple spikes, and those were from the ESM deployment. And then once we actually rolled out some fixes, you can see they died down. But then you see these big spikes come up here, and these were from the rules project, which we are still investigating around, or we are currently on top of around caching, which Jack is working on right now. So I zoom back out. There we go. Moving down to the issues opened and closed for TinaCMS. So over the last 6 months, you can see this graph of our issues. For last month, we had 31 issues opened and 12 issues closed. And for this month, we had 9 issues opened and 3 closed. So passing over to Wixie, are you able to read that?
So over the last week, in terms of organizations created, we had 103, which is a nice jump up from last week's 77. And we can see from the trend line that it's a little bit higher than last week as well, which correlates. Moving on, in terms of orgs created over the last 30 days, it's flattened out, so no longer a downward trend, which was also good to see. For our user onboarding funnel, so users signing up to first commit, we had an increase from 2% to 8%, which was good. Average time still holding at about 45 minutes. For our collaborator onboarding, so this is people invited to a project, that raised from 14% to 22%, so a nice big increase there. And the average time dropped substantially. Last week it was again about 45 minutes, and now it's 8.5. Which is in line with previous weeks. So that was all good to see. In terms of the trends for our Git authoring settings, so this is one of the steps as part of user signup. 2/3 of the users are opting in to get act as user functionality, so Tina Cloud acts as them. And a quarter of users are using co-authoring, with less than 10% not opting for any sort of co-authoring settings. So this is by far one of the better weeks for the co-authoring settings, which is awesome. In terms of unique cloners over the last couple of weeks, we've changed this around just for expediency's sake. Our barebones starter increased from 32 to 45 unique cloners. Our next.js starter increased from 50 to 67, and our self-hosted increased from 28 to 43. So all the numbers are up there, which is cool. In terms of our package downloads, we had a huge uptick. So this increased from just over 26,000 to just shy of 40,000. So kicking ourselves that we didn't get 3 people to go and clone the project, because then we could have cracked 40K. But you can see on the graph that more than half the users pulled down version 3 in terms of the downloads. So
very quickly. Very quick turnaround. Is that probably because it's all automated?
I don't know. Well, it's a major change, so I wouldn't expect automation to just go and pull it down. But funnily enough, if you flick over, Eli, I don't know if you noticed, on the website, the other cool thing. So
on the website?
Yeah, go to Tina.io and just look at that top. Yeah. Top, we've cracked 13,000 GitHub stars. So another milestone there as well. So I think that was awesome to see. Our biggest package download week ever, and 13,000 stars. In terms of the Epic progress, since we're focusing on ESM fixes, no progress on the Epics. R&D, there was some work around the search results not working. Again, the migration from CommonJS to ESM, and our GitHub action for automating content updates. So progress on there. AI tools, good to see that there's code editing tools and Yakshaver use. But I think Ivan had used AI really well this week, and just wanted to call it out.
What is Raycast?
Raycast is a Spotlight replacement. I showed you that last night.
Oh, is that where that image came from?
Well, that image came from Nano Banana, but I get access to all the different models Like I can use Perplexity or I can use whatever with Raycast, and then it's a Spotlight replacement as well.
So it's like that. Was it Tillman for all the messengers all those years ago?
No, it's similar to Alfred or
Like search on your Windows.
Yeah,
on crack.
Okay.
You can get it for Windows now as well.
Okay. All right.
But Ivan had a really good use of AI this week that we wanted to call out.
Right, so essentially when I had to migrate a whole bunch of things off Lodash, I had a dependency graph that was massive and hard to understand. It obviously went a few layers because we had transitive dependencies. So what I did is I asked the AI to generate me a few mermaid diagrams so I could visually see the graph and which dependency depends on what, essentially. That just made the process exponentially easier to understand. And I went through and I put that as a comment on the GitHub issue so we can get the real state. And instead of going through a massive table, people can just go there, take a look at the nice, pretty graph with different colors and understand where we are at this particular point. And I can obviously ask the AI to update this chart for me. So yeah, much easier to maintain, saves time. Very good.
Awesome.
So moving down to the Copilot stats, the speaking summary showed that myself and Matt did most of the talking. And for the main item completed was the cleanup of deployment slots for TinaCMS. I'm not sure if that was completely accurate. I think it was more the ESM fixes was the main item completed. So hey, I got it wrong that one that time.
And maybe you guys didn't speak with the right emphasis or the right keywords.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't pick up when I ask it to generate stuff in limericks. So
All right. I'll pass over to Jack for the retro.
Yeah, sweet. So for this retro, for what went well, I think everyone, including Matt, is super happy to see that this is our all-time high for downloads of TinaCMS. I guess of GitHub styles as well. And it was just good to see that the team was coming around and swarming on the ESM issues. So I guess Eli, Pat, and myself there, and just working together and fixing those pretty quickly. Some shout outs to Josh and I guess myself as well for getting all that stuff done so quickly. So super cool. Moving to what didn't go so well.
I'll just call out. I thought what you guys did. I think it was Jack and Pat with Steve Smith. Yes, that was phenomenal. Thought that email I saw that went off was great. Felt really happy when I saw it. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so what didn't go so well? Obviously, we found some holes in our testing. But if we find issues, we can fix them. So that's good. And that's what we'll be working towards for next sprint as well, getting some more visibility around these errors and some brainstorming around how we can implement some better tests. Caleb also got a bit sidetracked on the SSW website for some feature requests from Willie and Lou. So just something to note there.
Who asked for the feature request, Caleb?
That was Lou. It was something for the CRM team, and it required some client-side changes to the website, and there's no dedicated Scrum team for that, so I wound up having to do it. Otherwise, I just have to hand it off to someone random.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Now, how many of the SSW properties are running on the new Tina 3.0?
haven't they all been migrated? Because Josh was working on that last week when we were releasing it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he migrated most of them over to 3. And that's when he highlighted some of the issues that we went on and resolved.
Okay.
Jack was working on something at the time for the website that was causing a build error for it, and I'm not sure if that was done.
That did get resolved, yeah.
Okay. So that still needs to be migrated.
All right, cool. Moving on to the forecast. So, sprint goals for the sprint 85 will be the new search functionality, the ESM fixes, the remaining ones that are outstanding, or the outstanding ones, and our UI enhancements that we are currently working on. For the backlog, yeah,
Can you
there's
bold the most important ones?
the most important ones for the backlog. Would just be most of the ones in the review, which are the UI enhancements. Definitely the ones around ESM, which is the would it be this one here, Jack?
Yep. So yeah, that one for making testing more visible. So that's definitely super important to get that one done. And I think the bottom one accidentally got marked as done, but it's actually in review, and that's to fix some caching issues that have been brought up with ESM for rules. So that's another big one now.
All right. And for the Copilot stats, so the Copilot was mentioned that we are going to finalize and complete the remaining work around search and ESM. That was accurate, so good on AI for that one. Right. So thank you all for attending this meeting. This will be uploaded to the TinaCMS YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed. Cheers.
Thanks, Eli. That's good.